So, folks, it turns out, despite everything being a trash fire right now, believe it or not, some good things are still happening. Now, the other day I mentioned that a Democrat won a special election in Iowa.
This has been a really hard day. Thanks for the honest, level-headed coverage. It helps.
Charlotte Widnar's Pet Cat Girl, thank you for the $5 super chat. Really appreciate you. And you're very welcome. I'm doing my best out here. But let's talk a little bit more about Catelin Drey's victory in Iowa, because it is, I think, one of those harbingers of things to come. And I think that it is an extraordinarily good sign of where things are at, not just in, the urban hubs of the country, but in middle of nowhere areas of the country as well. The grassroots of working class America run deep, and working class America is kind of turning up right now. Okay? So, is she the one blowing up on social media and YouTube too? I'm not sure if it's the same person we're talking about. You can tell me, because there's a picture in this article. Iowa Democrats win massive upset to break GOP supermajority. So, basically, folks...
PSA and your Google search with no I, minus the quotes, and it will disable the I result from being generated.
Oh, hell yeah. Thank you, Greaves Underground. Thank you for the $5 super chat as well as the useful knowledge. So basically, the situation in Iowa is that the GOP, for a while now, has controlled the entire legislature of the state as well as the governorship, meaning that conservatives in Iowa could basically do all of that and more. They can do anything they want to do in that state until, not yesterday, the day before yesterday. Because Catelin Drey came out of nowhere to win a special election. Now, what exactly were her odds? Well, basically, going into this special election, people did not necessarily think that she had a great shot at winning, largely because that specific area of Iowa had been won by Donald Trump by 11 points. Oddly enough, Catelin Drey won that district by 11 points. So she swung that entire area of Iowa by 22 points in order to break the Iowa GOP's supermajority. Okay? That is a huge swing. That is astronomical numbers. And it's pretty interesting, to say the least. And it's basically the first time that Kim Reynolds in Iowa will have to consult Democrats in that state since she's been elected. That's crazy. When her opponent last won the seat in 2022, her opponent also won that seat by around 11 points in 2022. So it's not just a swing from Trump, it's a swing from the Republican Party at large. Now, of course, the person who formerly had the seat died, which is what triggered the special election, but that is a huge swing. And wouldn't you know it, folks, I want to say Rachel Drey, that's not her name. Catelin Drey is a progressive. She's in favor of pro-working class policies. And she made her name as a progressive organizer in Iowa. And what ended up happening is that she got so much support in Iowa that she was able to raise over $160,000 from the Grassroots donations. Her opponent raised less than $20,000. And then the Iowa Republican Party panicked and spent $160,000 on his campaign as well. And then the Democratic Party put $100,000 into her campaign after seeing that she might actually have the juice. And I want to play for you guys an ad that she put out there. I think it's this one.
Why are politicians so obsessed with me? I think I looked great with pink hair, but the upkeep was exhausting. But seriously, I'm a working mom, a proud Sioux Citian, and I'm ready to be your voice in the Iowa Senate. My kooky ideas are fully funding our public schools, making housing and childcare more affordable, and putting more money back in the pockets of working Iowans. I'm Catelin Drey, running for the Iowa Senate, and I hope to earn your vote by August 26th.
Yeah, basically, Republicans tried to attack her because at one point she had pink hair and was getting dangerously close to one of those blue-haired, progressive libs that cry everywhere all the time types. And she's just like, yeah, I had pink hair and I looked great. So they're doing great work out in Iowa to flip this seat, right? I wanted to read another quote from Catelin. Let's see here. Oh, this is actually just a quote from the Senate Minority Leader in the Democrats of Iowa. Catlin's agenda of fully funding public schools, affordable childcare and housing, and putting money in the pockets of working Iowans is a clear rejection of the Republican agenda led by Kim Reynolds and the state Republicans, or the Senate Republicans, that have failed Iowans. Which, yeah, like the fact that she can put out an ad that's basically just like, yeah, I'm going to get you childcare and fund the schools and get better housing. Fight me about it. Like, that resonated so much. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And this is, by the way, just a complete and utter rejection of Republicans across the board. Another really good example of how things are going. Let's turn to Maine. Okay? Because there's a lot that is happening across this country, and again, a lot of it is being driven by the grassroots, by organizing locally with the Democratic Party or with the DSA or with the Working Families Party, and like throwing actual in-person people at problems, right? Let's take a look here. Susan Collins went to a ribbon cutting the other day, and I just want you all to know how her constituents reacted to her presence at the ribbon cutting.
Shame! 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 Shame!
If you would let me celebrate.
Oh, please.
With
There's no celebration during this time. You're gonna fat shame me?
So could you just...
You're not so slim yourself.
Could you please just...
You're not so slim yourself.
Listen for just one...
No, you never listen to us. You never listen to your job.
Listen.
Your votes destroyed our Supreme Court. You refuse to have town halls because we aren't listening to us.
For a moment,
Why are you fighting genocide?
could you just listen?
You have voted for our Israel every vote.
I
Get her
have a
ass.
suggestion. Would you listen to the suggestion?
Would you listen to the suggestion? This is really inconvenient.
Vote Graham Platner.
Could you, could you listen to the suggestion?
No, this is not a migrating protest group. These are just different groups of people around the country, all pissed the fuck off.
It better include a town hall.
Here is my suggestion. I would like the town of Searsport, which has worked so hard with state, local, and with me, to bring...
Why are you all mad at me? It's my birthday. You can't be mad at me on my birthday, can you?
today about to be able to celebrate.
What about Gaza?
Could you just wait?
Why? Why should we wait? Why should we wait?
Would you like some ribbon candy? You should be in the Hague is an excellent way to end this clip. Now, what's interesting about this and what's happening in Maine is that currently, up until about like a week ago, Susan Collins had no challenger. That has since changed with the launch of this man's campaign, Graham Platner. Let's take a look at his initial campaign ad. He's an oyster man, you see. He's out there oystering all day, every day.
What I love most about Maine are the people. I have never met people who are more hard scrabble, even in a place that requires you to work like 2 or 3 different jobs. We have watched this state become essentially unlivable for working class people, and it makes me deeply angry. My name is Graham Platner, and I'm running for U.S. Senate in Maine to defeat Susan Collins. A decade of military service going overseas, farming oysters to feed my community, diving to lend a hand to other fishermen, trying to start a family. But everywhere I've gone, it seems like the fabric of what holds us together is being ripped apart by billionaires and corrupt politicians, profiting off of destroying our environment, driving our families into poverty, and crushing the middle class. I did 4 infantry tours in the Marine Corps and the Army. I'm not afraid to name an enemy, and the enemy is the oligarchy. It's the billionaires who pay for it, the politicians who sell us out. And yeah, that means politicians like Susan Collins. I'm not fooled by this fake charade of Collins' deliberations and moderation. The difference between Susan Collins and Ted Cruz is at least Ted Cruz is honest about selling us out and not giving a damn. People know that the system is screwing them. They know it in their bones. Nobody I know around here can afford a house. Healthcare is a disaster. Hospitals are closing. We have watched all of that get ripped away from us, and everyone's just trying to keep it all together. Why can't we have universal healthcare like every other first world country? Why can't we take care of our veterans when they come home? Why are we funding endless wars and bombing children? Why are CEOs more powerful than unions? We fought 3 different wars since the last time we raised the minimum wage. I'm not pretending to have all the answers, but I know that I'm asking the right questions. When I tell people around here that I'm running for Senate, sometimes the initial reaction is, what the but when I tell them why I'm doing it, because I truly do believe that we can build a system that is going to represent working people. The #1 response has been, well, thank God somebody's going to do it. You're supposed to fight for the things you love. This is our home, and I will fight tirelessly for it, for you. It's Mainers first, in Maine, always.
So that guy's pretty cool. He's got the juice. Not only is he built like a goddamn freight train, he's also like he's got the working class bona fides. He's got like the pro-union attitude. He's pro-trans people and trans rights. Dude has like a military track record, which plays well with the electorate. Dude does like oyster farming and like diving to help other people in his community. Like, dude's cool as hell. His campaign video is him in his like oyster sweatshirt. Like, dude wants to like end the genocide and he calls it genocide. He went on Majority Report, talked about how he had called into Majority Report like years ago. And the very first thing they asked him was whether or not he was another John Fetterman. And he basically said, fuck no. And like, I'm sorry, dude's literally running. The enemy is the oligarchy, you know? This is a guy who, he's got the juice. He's got the juice. Based man, indeed. The oyster juice, indeed.
Oligarchy. It's the billionaires who pay for it, the politicians who sell us out. And yeah, that means politicians like Susan Collins.
Yeah, dude's looking for a fight, and I think he's gonna do pretty well. If I had to wager. I think that there is a change in the winds here, and I think that change favors working class folks like Graham Platner. Please go over his Reddit AMA comment on LGBT rights. Here, let's take a look. Oh yeah, here we go. Just curious where you stand on LGBTQIA plus rights and freedoms. I stand right in the fucking way of anyone who's trying to come after the freedoms of the LGBTQIA plus community. Dude's a real one. Dude is a real one. If you let me also just a free tip of political advice, okay? If any of you are built like Graham Platner is, and like you present as like a cis white dude, and you're built like him, you automatically have a really good shot in politics if you want to run for any kind of office, okay? I would highly encourage any of you who are physically built like that to run for office, especially if you're here, because that means you have good politics, all right? Please consider running for something. Also, of course, conservatives are already calling him the Maine Mamdani, so yeah. Also, Zateo did a write-up about him like a week or so ago. Oysterman Graham Platner is challenging the establishment, demanding corporations pay for climate change, and says the genocide in Gaza is the ultimate moral test of our time. So, dude is actually out there doing that shit. I'm not white, but I'm built. Get running for something, Sweet Myths. You'd make some killer campaign videos. What worries me is that populism is gaining ground, and that ain't a good thing. Populism is not the same as popular. Indeed, which is why you need to have actual rooted and grounded politics. The Maine Mamdani, that's so fucking funny, isn't it? He's up by 16 points in the polling right now, Somniostatic. Do you have a link to that poll? Wait, you just posted the link to that poll. Oh, fuck, Ryan Grimm. This is some good news. Graham Platner is up 16 points. That's crazy. Let's fucking go. Wow. Also, I don't do this often, but dude does have a Senate website, and this is one of the few times I'll say, hey, consider donating directly to his campaign here, or consider even better, volunteering for his campaign, because let's get Susan Collins out of Congress. Finally. Let's get rid of that old hag. Let's go. Still a better website than Jenk. Still a better website than Jacob Frey here in Minneapolis. And by the way, let's just one last thing on this guy. Let's take a look at his at an interview with local news in Maine that aired about 7 days ago. Let's take a look. See how this went.
You are running for U.S. Senate. You're running for Susan Collins' seat. Is that correct?
I am running for United States Senate. I'm born and raised here in Sullivan. I grew up here. I joined the Marine Corps out of high school, went overseas for a while, and when I came home, this state and this community is what allowed me to kind of come back and build, frankly, a life that I've fallen in love with. And even though I've been able to build a really nice life, I've been able to do that with a lot of support from my community and support from the VA. I'm a disabled veteran. Recently, I've really watched my community begin to essentially fall apart. Rural healthcare in Eastern Maine is collapsing. We have a housing crisis and an affordability crisis it's driving people out of the state. I have a lot of friends my age who are leaving Maine because there's nowhere to live. They can't afford a house if they can even find one. And it's hard for me to live a life that I've worked very hard to build, that I find very fulfilling. It's hard for me to find satisfaction in that while my community and my neighbors and frankly the state that I love seems like it is in the most dire straits it's been in a long time. And so this is an opportunity for me to get involved and to give back to the place that has given me so much. We need people to fight for working Mainers, and it hasn't felt like we have had that in a very long time. In the 30 years that Susan Collins has been in the Senate, things have gotten materially worse for working class Mainers. People now are really, they're no longer buying the charade that she's a moderate or that she's fighting for working Mainers, because they see over and over and over again her using her position to try to look like she's helping folks while continuing on supporting a much larger project that has resulted in the immiseration of the working class in the state. I know this. I have friends who are Republicans. I have friends who are Democrats.
Also people asking for his bona fides on Gaza. Here's a picture from his yearbook where he's literally holding up a sign that says Free Palestine on it, and most likely to start a revolution in his high school. So let's fucking go. I'm all in on Graham. Let's go. We need an oyster man in Congress.
Everybody in my small town who I talk to, they see her as just another self-interested politician who has served the whims of the establishment. And everybody feels like she's got to go. We need a politics in this state that is going to represent the interests of working people. And people know that. They can feel it. And I think in many ways, people are just waiting to be shown that there is a path forward where we can retake power for working people in this country and get the programs and the support that we need, instead of just shoveling all of our money up into the stratosphere for a few ultra wealthy billionaires to hoard. And I think that feeling is across the political divide in Maine. And it's a feeling that I personally have because I'm an oyster farmer. I'm the harbor master in my small town. I live a very simple life in a very small, simple community of people who are just trying to make it. And that's who we need to be fighting for. The fact that we live in a system that is treating working people the way that it is shows that those who have been in charge had no interest in fighting for them. Because if they had, we wouldn't be here. And I think that is a message that's going to resonate across the electorate in Maine.
And how do you think that your experience as a veteran helps you in a position where you'd be serving Mainers in Washington?
Look, I got to build the life I live because of the support I get from the VA. The VA pays for my health care. It gives me really good, high quality health care. That allowed me to take some risks, like starting a small business. I didn't have to worry about getting a job that was going to give me health care. I didn't have to worry about getting a job I hated just to put a roof over my head. The support I got from the VA helped me with my health care, helped me with staying in a house.
The way the DMV loves seafood, he'd be welcomed here with open arms.
Let's do it.
Thank
you for the $5 donut,
that
Lily.
kind of support should be having to go fight in stupid foreign wars and watching your friends die. I think that kind of support in a system that is creating more wealth than any of us could have ever imagined. We have the resources to provide that to every single American. And we need to.
Why do you think people at home should trust you as a senator?
One, because I'm a working class guy. I've never aspired to higher office. Running for U.S. Senate is not a thing that I built my life around doing. I thought that being harbor master of Sullivan, Maine was going to be the extent of my political career. But I'm watching a system just screw working people daily over and over and over again. And I watch it because I am a working person. I work on the ocean with my hands. I work incredibly hard. I think that people will be able to trust me because very quickly they're going to learn that I am just one of them. I don't come from a lot of wealth. I don't come from a higher strata of society. I'm a working class guy that lives a working class life. And I think there's an authenticity there that most other politicians just can't provide because it's inauthentic for them. They don't come from this life. They don't come from small coastal communities. They don't come from logging communities in northern Maine. They come from places of privilege, and people can tell that. And the only privilege I have is that because of my military service, I got supported by the VA. That's it. And that allows me to live a good life. And I think that is a privilege that shouldn't be a privilege. That should just be a right to all Americans.
Dude is just real, you know? Dude's just real. He has no interest in subterfuge. He has no interest in trying to trick anyone. Dude is just out there being like, yeah, nah, fuck this. Let's make things better instead of constantly poisoning everyone around us. There is something in the grassroots of organizing in America right now where, hey, are you a random guy who farms oysters for a living? You can unseat someone who has built a political dynasty in your state. You're someone who can actually go out there as a pro-working class individual, and you can tap into an incredible amount of organizing power in order to get out these destructive elements of our political elite. You can go out there and just say what you believe with your whole chest and become someone who can take down the political establishment. I don't care if it's Hakeem Jeffries. I don't care if it's Susan Collins. I don't care if it is Ted Cruz. Like, now is kind of the time. Now, there has never been a better time to run for some kind of political office, whether it's city council, whether it is, dog catcher, whether it is senator. Now is the time to break the stranglehold capital has on our political elite. Now is the time to get rid of them and start representing working class folks. Now is the time. And I just want to say, if you guys are interested in running for office, head on over to runforsomething.net, okay? Runforsomething.net. Look at that. We went to it ourselves. I'm going to copy and paste this over here, okay? This is a website that will help you run for something. It is self-explanatory, okay? Run for something here, folks. Join your local Dems, join your local DSA, join your local Working Families Party, join your local soup kitchen, I don't care. But now's the time to seriously look at yourself, your situation, your level of dissatisfaction with your local or state government, and consider, is it time for me to run for something? Because it takes action on our parts, each and every one of us, if we want to change our society. So what are you willing to do? Are you willing to volunteer? Are you willing to phone bank? Are you willing to door knock? Then figure out a way to make that happen. Are you willing to step up and run for office? Figure out a way to make that happen. Now is the time. Also, Thistles Fries, thank you for the $5 super chat. Can confirm DSA folks are great. It's a wide range of folks in DSA nationwide, truly open to making real change locally and nationally. Hell yeah, Thistles for Eyes. Socialism, solidarity forever, Mr. Anderson. Only takes one good election, exactly, Somniostatic. So folks, if you're mad, don't just sit there and stew. Organize and fight. In his Reddit AMA, Graham Platner said his campaign will refuse corporate PAC money. Good man.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather around. Twitch and YouTube and swishy streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, Maine, and plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack.